Hello friends, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be tier ranking every single fantasy and sci-fi book that I have ever read. Or rather, all of the books that I have read in the past couple of years that I actually remember the plot of. We have quite a few books to get through today, so let's jump right into the video. So before we get started, let me introduce you to my tiers, although most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but still. The first one I have here is I will be taking no criticism on these. And it is what it is. I love these books. These are my babies. So please don't hurt them. And if you don't like these books, I'm sorry to say, but you're wrong. Then the next category is Chef's Kiss. And these books are just that. They're perfect. They're a chef's kiss. They're 5 stars. They're great. They might not be my god tier books, but they're still fantastic reads and I will definitely reread them at some point. Then we have You Were Good. I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. Again, makes sense, right? Books that were very solid, very good, I enjoyed them, but there was just something, little something that was missing from them to make them a 5-star or to make them my all-time favorite books. Then I have a category that's called Entertaining. I would recommend. Maybe. So these are the books that, yeah, they were fun. I don't regret reading them. I might recommend them, but also I might not, or not to everyone. And then we have I'd Rather Not Talk About It. It's literally that. These are the books that I prefer to not talk about and not remember the fact that I've read them. And then we have It's a No for Me. So these are the books that were just not for me. They might be for other people, but for one reason or another, they did not work for me. Okay, let's get started. So the first book that I have here is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is his standalone that is set in Cosmere. Honestly, it was a really fun book. It has one of the most unique magic systems that has to do with color and breath, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think I would say I would put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great, because honestly it was very entertaining, but it was just not a 5-star. It was missing something in the story, but it was very solid. Definitely one of the ones that I enjoyed a lot. Then we have Words of Radiance. This is book 2 of the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson as well, and this is going straight to God tier. I love this book so much. It was amazing. I absolutely love Shangan. She's one of my favorite characters ever, and no matter what terrible things she does, I still love her very much. And I also really enjoyed all of the world building, and especially at the end there was so much political intrigue. You discover so many secrets. It was just so entertaining. I flew through this book and I loved it very much. The only thing I didn't love about it were the interludes in between the big parts of the book, but that's fine. I can forgive it that. So this is a god tier book. I loved it very much. Then we have Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This is the first book of the Sovereign Reach trilogy, or it's a 4-book series. I always call it a trilogy. Annihilation, honestly, I think it is a chef's kiss for me. It's really fun. It is a mix between sci-fi and horror. I do really recommend this series. I haven't finished it yet, but it was really good. The second book of this series, however, Authority, I think I'd rather not talk about it. It was just not great at all. I'm definitely continuing the series. I have book 3 on my shelves. I think Authority was really boring. It was truly a letdown to the series. I'm sure I'm still going to really enjoy book 3 whenever I get to it, but that one, no. It was not great. Next we have Artemis by Andy Weir, and if you know, Andy Weir is one of my all-time favorite authors. I will fight for Andy Weir, but Artemis specifically, maybe we're not gonna talk about it. I could put it in entertaining. I would recommend maybe. I would say probably I'd rather not talk about it. I think this book does not do Andy Weir as an author any justice. It was still relatively entertaining. I still finished it. I didn't DNF it. I had a decently fun time, but I was so disappointed because I know Andy Weir has so much more potential than that. So yeah, it's gonna stay here. Then we have the Well of Ascension. Actually, we have the entire first Mistborn trilogy. So let me put them all together. I think I have mismatched covers here. So let me try to find them first so that I have books 1 to 3. Okay, so the first book is The Final Empire, then The Well of Ascension, and then The Hero of Ages. The Final Empire, I think I would put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. This is the beginning of the Mistborn series. This book had one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to books, because I absolutely cannot stand when there are repetitive words in the book. And if you have not read specifically The Final Empire, I would say skip to whatever time I say on the screen, because I feel like it's one of those things that if you don't notice it yourself, you might like never pay attention to it, it's fine. But once someone else points it out to you, you might never unsee it again, and it might spoil your enjoyment of the book. I really didn't like the fact that Brandon Sanderson overuses the word frown in this book so much. Every single page has frown at least 5 times, I swear to you. By the end of it, it was driving me crazy how many times there is the word frown. So I feel like that alone spoiled my enjoyment of this book. I did really love the characters, I loved the found family, I loved all of the events, and in general, like, world is pretty fascinating, the magic system is really cool. But yeah, the first book wasn't great. The second book, I would say, also wasn't the best, because I think it had a bit of a second book syndrome where we started to get too political, unnecessarily so. It was just boring at times and too long. However, The Hero of Ages, chef's kiss. It was really good. I really loved how the series wrapped up. I know that a lot of people really loved the beginning of the series, but then don't like how the first trilogy wraps up. I personally loved the ending more than I loved the beginning of this trilogy, so I had a good time. I really loved The Hero of Ages, so it's going into my chef's kiss pile. Next we have Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. This is a short novella. It's very interesting, but I would say it was entertaining, and I would recommend it maybe just because it's so unique and it has very interesting concept, but I didn't love it. I thought it was a little bit like all over the place for me. I still am very curious to check out other work by Nnedi Okorafor, and I know that she came out with a new book this year. I think it was Death of an Author or Death by the Author or something like that. I'm definitely going to be picking it up. I'm very curious to see what I think about it, but as for Binti, it wasn't my favorite. Next on the list we have Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I really love the concept. This is a sci-fi about people fighting intelligent spiders. It's so unique, it's so fun, but also I remember that it was dragging at times. Oh, it's between You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great, and then entertaining. I think I'm gonna put it in entertaining. As of right now, I don't really feel that urge to pick up this series ever again, but the concept of it was really fun. The next book that I have here is A Psalm for the Wild-Built. I'm actually going to put A Prayer for the Crowned Shy next to it because this is a duology. Honestly, I love this book. A Psalm for the Wild-Built is definitely a chef's kiss. A Prayer for the Crowned Shy I loved a lot, but I think I enjoyed it a little less than the first book. Honestly, they blur a little bit because they're so short that I don't really remember where the events of the first one ended and where the second one began. No, I can't do this to Becky Chambers. I'm gonna put it in chef's kiss because honestly both of these books are really sweet and great. Then we have All Systems Red, and actually I have a second book somewhere here. Let me find it. Oh yeah, here, Artificial Condition. So the first book of the Murder Bot Diaries is All Systems Red. I really enjoyed it and I had fun with it. I'm going to put the first book of this series in You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. I really enjoyed it, but for me it was missing a little bit of the world building and like the understanding what is happening in the world. Like I was so intrigued when there were some fight scenes, but I just wanted more of them. Like I wanted more details. I wanted this book to be longer than it is. And then the second book I'm actually going to put in chef's kiss because it has a very, very fun dynamic that I really enjoyed. Next we have Fourth Wing, a book that I DNF'd at about 30%. It's a no from me. I'm so sorry. I know that a lot of people really enjoy it and I can see how it can be really fun and entertaining world. For me, there were just aspects of this book that did not work so much and rubbed me the wrong way to the point when I could not enjoy it even if it was purely for entertainment reasons. So this is a fantasy romantasy about dragons, right? And the people who go to magical school to learn how to ride and fight with dragons. And I stopped at the scene where it was the first time that they could come close to the dragons and pick the ones that would be their pair and the dragons that they're going to ride. As they're standing in this line waiting to be picked by this very vicious creatures, they're discussing main character's sister's ass. I'm sorry, but that was a no for me. I could not take it seriously after that point. I know that a lot of people really enjoy this series and I'm really glad that it works for so many. It just did not work for me. Next one, I have One Dark Window. Okay, I'm actually going to put it in Chef's Kiss. This series is kind of like my guilty pleasure. I had so much fun with it. I think the world is really fun. It's like dark, gothic. The magic system is really cool. I love the relationship between the main character and the monster that she has in her head. I really love that book. The second book of this series, let me find it, Two Twisted Crowns. I actually am going to put in the You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. I think the pacing of the second one was a little bit off for me, and it didn't quite have that charm that the first book had, but still I really enjoyed it. It was still very fun, very entertaining. I do recommend this duology. I cannot wait to read Rachel Gillig's new release, The Night and the Moth. I just know it's going to be so good. But yeah, this is where I stand with the Shepherd King duology. Next we have Dune. Oof, a classic. A classic that so many people love, but not me. At the beginning of this book, I absolutely loved it so much. I was so immersed in this world. It's incredible. It's so fascinating, but it gets so boring towards the end of the book. I'm sorry to say, it didn't work for me. I just got so annoyed, so bored. I barely made it through the rest of the book. Then we have Old Man's War. Oh my god, we're like on a roll here. It's a no for me as well. I DNF'd this book at like 70-ish% into it. I really enjoyed the beginning of it. It's kind of set in the future where people are able to join the space army, but in order to join it you have to be 70 or 75, and you essentially resign from being a citizen of Earth, and you're only going to be living in space from that point on. And whatever organization, like the military that is involved in the space war, they have technology to make people younger, but you don't really know how at the beginning of the book, and you find out with the main character. It was so fun until the main character joins the war, and then you just get flashbacks and different like cutscenes of him being in this war, and all of it is just very gore and graphic, which I really don't like. You kind of just lose the plot. That's it. The plot of the book finishes there. I felt so disconnected from that book so fast, even though I was enjoying it so much, as I said at the beginning. So it's a no for me. Next we have, actually I'm going to put all of the Becky Chambers, the Wayfarer series all together. Let me find the other book. Okay, so we have the 4 books that make the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers, starting with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. It's almost Chef's Kiss, but there was one scene that really confused me at the end, and it kind of has to do with the entire plot reveal of the entire series. No, you know what? I cannot do it to Becky Chambers. Now that I think about all of the characters and everything that happens, it's a chef's kiss. It's a chef's kiss. A Closed and Common Orbit goes right into God tier. This book, I don't know what it is about it, but the relationships and the characters that are in this book, they touched me to my core. I think about them all the time. And now that I think about it, I really want to reread this book, but I do need to make my way through my physical TBR. But once I clear out a few more books off my shelf, I'm definitely doing a reread of A Closed Common Orbit, because that book is just, it's a masterpiece. It's truly one of the best books I've ever read. The Galaxy and the Ground Within, it was good. I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. It definitely takes on a much darker and sadder tone, which is okay. Yeah, it was good. And A Record of a Spaceborne Few, I also put in You Are Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. I still recommend this 4-book series to everybody. It is fantastic, and it is still an amazing sci-fi that is just so moving, so lovely, so sad at times as well. Ooh, next I have Light from Uncommon Stars. This is actually such a weird sci-fi book. I don't even know what to make out of it. It's like one of the weirdest books that I have ever read. You're following someone who made a deal with the devil and is trying to find a new student to sell the student's soul to the devil. You also have main character who is a trans girl who is trying to become a famous musician, and then you also follow a family of aliens who have a donut shop. It's weird. It's many things. Not only does this book has a very interesting set of characters, but also it's very atmospheric. It's set in California, but it's a very thick atmosphere, and I love atmosphere in books. I enjoyed it, but I think I'm gonna put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. Then we have The Emperor's Soul. I don't know where I would put it. I would say probably Chef's Kiss, or maybe You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. Again, this is a fantasy standalone that is set in Cosmere. Technically, you can read this book as a second book of Elantris, which I have not read Elantris yet, but you can also read it as a standalone. It's fine. It's a very short, it's a novella. Okay, I think I'm going to put it in Chef's Kiss. One is that I love Brandon Sanderson's writing, and I think he's really good at fantasy, like world building and the characters, but also he had a very unique magic system that I enjoyed. The Martian by Andy Weir, sure to go tier. No comments there. It's one of my favorite books of all time. Andy Weir can do no wrong. We're just gonna ignore Artemis. He can do no wrong, okay? The Martian is one of the best books ever. Then we have Mikey 7. I think it was entertaining. I would recommend it maybe. This book had a really fun concept, but I think it wasn't all executed really well. There wasn't too much plot. It was just vibes, but it was fun, entertaining, and I might continue this series and read the second book, The Antimatter Blues. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman goes straight into God tier. I loved that book. It was so unique and weird. You're following the protagonist, who is one of the 40 women who are locked in a cage underground, and you basically have to figure out what is going on in this world. It is such an interesting exploration of human nature, of what it means to be human, of human relationships, of how much we change under different circumstances. It's also just a very interesting mystery, because you get these clues as to what this world is, but you never actually get any answers. Be prepared. You are gonna have many questions that are not going to be answered in this book, but it was unique. It was amazing. I do really want to reread this at some point, even though I only read it last year, and it was such a unique read. I loved it very much, so I'm going to put it in the I will be taking no criticism. So the next is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the first book of the Stormlight Archive series. I'm actually going to put it in the You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. It was a bit of a tedious introduction to the Stormlight Archive, in my personal opinion. It took me about 50% of this book to really start getting into it. At the beginning, I was not feeling the story at all, but the ending of it and the entire Kaladin arc is incredible. I love Kaladin. I will fight for Kaladin, and the ending is so fun. You have so much incredible like revenge, and oh, it's great. But I don't think it was perfect, so that's why it's going to be staying in this tier. Project Hail Mary. If you've been here for any time, you will know this is one of my all-time favorite books. I reread it every year. I have not done my reread this year yet, but I might. This is exactly the book that I will take no criticism on. I'm sorry, but it's perfect. Even if it's not perfect, for me, it's perfect. It's my baby. I love it. So that's that. Randomized by Andy Weir. I think it was entertaining, and I recommend it maybe. It is a very short story. It's part of the Amazon Forward collection. It had a really fun concept, but I think it's really hard to get attached to anything when it's like a 30-40 page story. And I am personally someone who doesn't love short stories. I just read this one because it's Andy Weir, but I wouldn't say that it's a read that changed my life in any way. Then we have The Humans by Matt Haig. This was actually one of the first contemporary sci-fi that I have read. I remember really loving it, but I honestly have to be honest, I don't remember too many details about this book. You're following an alien who is sent on Earth on a mission, but he doesn't really know how to be human, so he's kind of learning along the way, and it starts really funny, but then it becomes very serious and kind of sad towards the end of it. I would say it's a chef's kiss. As far as I remember, this is a really good book. I would reread it at some point to, you know, make sure, but I really liked it at the time. Edge Dancer is a short novella that is part of the Stormlight Archive series. I think I'm gonna put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. At the beginning, I did not care for that character at all, but towards the end of Edge Dancer, I actually kind of started to like them a bit more, so yeah, I'm gonna put it here. Blood of a Bright Haven by M.L. Wang is going straight to I will be taking no criticism on these. This was my 6-star read of the year. I loved it. I think it is like a perfect fantasy. Even if there might be things about it that are not necessarily perfect, maybe. I honestly wouldn't know, because for me, this book is perfect. I loved it so much. I think it is just such a well-crafted fantasy. Like, it has all of the elements, the way the world building is done is just chef's kiss, but it's not gonna be chef's kiss. It's gonna be God tier. Then we have the Cruel Prince trilogy. What's it called? The Funk of the Air. Took me a minute. It was very entertaining. I read it during a 24-hour readathon. Oh, I actually just noticed that this is not the third book. These covers are so similar. Doesn't the Serpent and the Wings of Night look like it could belong in the Cruel Prince series? Anyway, so The Funk of the Air, I really like the first book. I think I'm going to put it, You Were Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. The second book, I'm gonna put it You Were Good. Still, it's a YA series. It's been out for a while. It's very entertaining and fun. And then the third book I'm actually going to put in the entertaining category. I kind of lost the interest towards the end of last book, but if you're interested in more of my thoughts in the moment, I have a vlog on my channel where I read all of these books within like the span of 2 days, which was really fun. Then we have Serpent and the Wings of Night. It was entertaining, but would I ever talk about it? I think I'm gonna put it in the entertaining. I would maybe recommend it if you are really into romantasies, heavy on the romance. You might enjoy this. It was very fast-paced. Like, I had fun reading it, but it's also one of those books that I don't ever think about. As soon as I finished it, I was like, I'm never going to be reading book 2 of this series. It's just, that was enough. I don't think it's the most well-built fantasy world by far, but it's a fun read. Legends and Lattes, actually, it's a no for me. This book did not work for me at all. It's not my type of thing. That's all. It's just not my type of thing. I actually considered DNFing that book when I was like 90% through it. I literally didn't have that little energy to finish the last 10%. But I did. I finished it. It was fine, but it's not something that I personally really enjoy. Then we have Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. This is book 2. The first one is the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. So I'm going to be putting both of these books in Chef's Kiss. They were really good. It is an academia romance, kind of like a historical fiction, but it's fantasy. I really love the relationship of these two characters. It was so funny. I also really love the main character, Emily Wilde. I love that she's a bit stubborn and she's just like a very entertaining character to follow. So I really like the first 2 books. I really want to finish this series at some point this year, maybe towards fall or winter, because I feel like these books are very like fall coded, but it was a really good time. Then we have Assistant to the Villain. The first one I actually really enjoyed. I think I would put it the entertaining. It was entertaining. Like, it wasn't a great book, but I had a lot of fun with it and I was actually really entertained. I liked the characters a lot. Apprentice to the Villain, I think I would put I would rather not talk about it. The second book let me down a little bit. Not that I had like any expectations, but I think it was just unnecessary. There were so many things in this book that were unnecessary, and also clearly from the first book, the main 2 characters like want to be together, and it felt like in the second book there were forced obstacles for them not to be together, but there was no real reason for them not to be. It's just, I don't know, it was not great. Then The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang as well goes straight to God tier. The relationships of this book and just the main characters were amazing. I love them so much and it's one of my favorite fantasy reads. A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oof. Which one is it going to be? It's a no for me, or I'd rather not talk about it. It's both. It's a no for me and I'd rather not talk about it. It's just, no, I think it's a no for me because this is a book that just, it was not for me. I didn't really like this fantasy world. I didn't love the characters, especially the main character annoyed me. Again, I know that this is a series that is for so many people a gateway into fantasy. For me, I did not like it. I do have the second book on my Kindle. I don't know if I will ever pick it up. Maybe one day if I'm in a book slump and I want something entertaining, I might. I don't know. I know that people really love the second book, so I'm kind of curious. I do still have that little bit of FOMO, but as of right now, I don't think this is a series for me. To Be Totally Fortunate by Becky Chambers, it's a tough one because it wasn't a 5-star read for me, but I really loved the story. I think I'm going to put it in the good category. The Fellowship of the Ring, my recent read, is going straight to God tier, even though I don't think this book is necessarily perfect. There were a couple of moments, specifically the introduction about the history of hobbits, and then the Tom Bombadil scenes that I didn't like. I found them to be boring, but overall this book was god tier. It's incredible. I did not expect how funny these books are. I loved it so much. I was so entertained. Again, I did a reading vlog of The Fellowship of the Ring. If you're interested in checking that out, I'm definitely going to be picking up books 2 and 3 very soon. Hold on, I am getting to them, but I miss this world already. Then we have Ready Player One. I think, I don't know, like it was entertaining, but also You Were Good. I think You Were Good, I'm waiting for you to be great. It was a fun read. Like, it's very fast paced. It's one of those books that I would highly recommend if you're in a reading slump to pick up. It definitely reads very YA. It also reads as it is written for a male audience, and it also very much feels like a 2013 book, and some things in it feel a little bit outdated. But having said that, it's still very entertaining and it's very fast paced. I actually really loved many parts of it, so I think I'm putting it in the good tier. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Chef's Kiss. This is such a unique fantasy standalone. It's kind of like magical realism fantasy. It was so great. I recommend this book all of the time. Okay, we only have a few more left. Let's get through it. Pines by Blake Crouch, unfortunately, was a no for me. It had a very interesting concept, but I think for me it was way too gore and violent. It was so graphic. I did not enjoy that. And also it was a little bit sexist, which I also did not appreciate. So unfortunately it's a no for me. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I think maybe entertaining. I would recommend maybe. This book definitely has its audience. I do think that it did many things really well, but it might not be exactly a book for me. Then we have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I really love this cover. I don't have this book in this cover, but I really like it. It's been a while since I read it, so I have to be honest with you, I don't remember too many details. I remember it was really good and entertaining. I think it was good. It was fun. It's a sci-fi classic. I know it's not gonna be for everyone. It might be a little outdated. I'm actually going to be rereading it at some point, so I will be able to give you a bit of a better opinion about it, but as of right now, I think it was good. I mean, it's a sci-fi classic for a reason. Next we have Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I would put this in Chef's Kiss. I really love that book. I connected to the main character so much, and I loved this story so much. It was so endearing to me, and it had a very interesting like horror element to it. I really liked it, so I would keep it there. Then we have The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I think actually this book was a no for me. I have enjoyed The Glass Hotel by her a lot. It was a very entertaining, interesting, weird book, but The Sea of Tranquility specifically just was not the type of sci-fi that I really enjoy. The House on the Cerulean Sea, it's actually the book that I finished last night. I'm going to put it in the You Are Good, I'm Waiting for You to Be Great. It is a very charming, very adorable, cozy fantasy. I enjoyed it so much. Chess of the Emerald Sea is actually going to probably go into the it's a no for me. I did not connect to this story at all. I don't think I like this type of like whimsical fairy tale type of story. I really didn't like the setting, even though it was like, it sounded really fun, but it was so long at times. I didn't love it. I could not connect to the story, so it's probably one of my least favorite Brandon Sanderson books that I've ever read. And then The Will of the Many is going to go into Chef's Kiss. I really love that book. This book made it to my best books of 2024. This is the first book of a fantasy series. It was very unique and interesting. It also had that mystery element, and it was dark and a little gory, but in the right amount where it made sense to me, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I had really good time reading that book. I would recommend it for sure. I cannot wait for book 2 to come out later this year, and I will be trying to pick it up as soon as it's out because it was really good. Okay, so this is my final ranking. Let me do a quick scan just to make sure that everything looks good, that I'm happy with all of it. Okay, actually I moved things around and I decided to put Children of Time in the good section because honestly that book was really good and it had such a fun, unique concept. I think it deserves to be in this category rather than entertaining. Okay, so this is my final rating. I think I'm happy with it. Please let me know what you think about it. If you agree or disagree with any of my ratings, I would love to know. So that is is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was very long, it was a lot of yapping, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for sticking around. I appreciate you so much, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye!